Footy Interchange Exchange. Adam Papalia, Will Schofield with you. This is where we answer your questions from the podcast and talk about the issues that you really want to talk about. It's a great way that we can actually talk about a few different things. We get criticised sometimes, Schoey, about talking about the same thing as everyone else each week, or always taking it down the same tack.
Surely not.
This is where people, if there's something on your mind, a question you've got for either Schoey, myself, or a question about the league, this is where you can get involved. And in the next couple of weeks, it's going to be moving location slightly.
Yes, just a reminder, if you are watching this, this will be here for 4 weeks. We're putting it out to the public for another 4 weeks, but then it is heading to Patreon. It'll be a part of our offerings over there, which you can sign up at backchatpodcast.com.au. Costs you $10 a month. That's right, a month. $2.50 a week. You get discounts on all of our sponsors at BackChat through that. You get early release content, ad-free content. You can listen whenever you want, wherever you want. And that's where this part of the show will be living.
Brilliant. So, sign up, help support the podcast as well.
You got 4 weeks.
You got 4 weeks, and you can join in, just like Scotty Corbett has done, who sent us an email.
Oh, Scotty.
He says, hey, fellas, Schoey mentioned last year that some of the Eagles youngsters had struggled with their development because they weren't getting any confidence at AFL level. Due to their injury list, they were forced to play AFL instead of building form and confidence in the WAFL before getting the call-up. Are the Eagles doing the right thing this year by giving players like Gross, Grego, Hall and Shanahan more games at WAFL level, despite the outcry from fans, before giving them more consistent AFL games? Thanks, boys, says Scotty.
Yeah, it's a good question, Scotty. I just think overall it's so much more healthier for West Coast Eagles to have a competitive WAFL side. Now, they're not... they're not taking it to East Perth. They lost by 10 goals on the weekend against East Perth, but they're more competitive. I think last week, I don't know, this week just gone, they had 17 AFL listed players. They really should be better, to be honest. If you've got 17 listed players, that's meant to be, yes, I know they're young, but in terms of talent and the education and that time they spend on fitness, it's a hell of a lot more than any WAFL player. So they should actually be more competitive, but so should the AFL side, perhaps. I do think it's a good thing they're playing in the WAFL. Like Clay Hall's had almost 30, at least 2 weeks, if not 3 weeks in a row. That builds confidence to then put into AFL. Like if he goes and puts a month full of 30 touches a week, you get to AFL level and you're like, oh, I can do this. Whereas, last year, if he was played last year, it's off the back of an 11-touch game, a 12-touch game, and a 15-touch game. You get to AFL level and your upside's probably about 6 touches. So, yeah, I do think it's a good thing. I'd really like to see Shanahan played at AFL level. Like, I've seen him enough now to think he probably has that, but clearly they're holding him back. It's probably one area of West Coast they've kind of got a bit of depth, which is their key positions either end of the ground. But I think he could fit in nicely somewhere.
Just got a post through on X from Ian, following up on this a little bit in terms of the gap between WAFL and AFL. Can you put a number on the difference between the two and why that development would be better in the WAFL?
In terms of quality?
Yeah. Or the step up, like how much harder is it?
Yeah. I think that it's quicker. And when I say quicker, it's not necessarily... people are faster. Like there's a lot of fast players in the AFL, but the decisions you make have to be a hell of a lot quicker, and you don't really have any time to make mistakes at AFL level. WAFL, you can fix mistakes easier, and you got to remember the game of footy is just all about mistakes. Like there's not many passages of play ever that is clean possession, goal. Like there is a stoppage, there's a tackle, there's a contest won or lost, there's ground balls, there's different mistakes that are made in the back line or the midfield. It's basically a game of mistakes, 95% of it. At WAFL level, you can fix those a lot easier, whereas AFL, you either do or you don't. And if you don't, it's very easily exposed. So the step up is in the decision making and less so the skill level and less so fitness. You can make that step up, but because of the decision making, element to it, it means you can probably find ways to get the footy a bit easier at WAFL level if you're a ball getter. The defence is a little bit less structured and a little less effective. So if you want to go and hunt the footy, it's probably easier to do at WAFL level than it is AFL level. There's not many easy touches at AFL level.
Bit more freedom to go and chase it, as you said. RJK says, what reasons can you give as to why the Eagles wouldn't use their competitive advantage of 60 to 80 odd million to pay over the soft cap, excuse me, and provide the best resources possible for more development stuff, that type of thing?
What reasons can I give?
So the way that the soft cap works
Yes.
is if you go over it, you pay a luxury tax on it.
Yes.
And then all of that money that you pay the tax then gets redistributed to the clubs that don't have as much cash.
I mean, an argument I could use is, whether it's $1 million or $2 million or whatever the tax is, it's still $1 million or $2 million. Like, it's still money. Like, just because they have money doesn't mean you just want to pay it in a fine. It's a good question though, because West Coast do have an advantage in some money in the bank account. But do we know that it's $60 odd million? Do we know that's a fact? Like, I don't know how much money they have in their bank account. I still think, like, you can't just go throwing money away. Like,
I thought they had a big vault under the club, and
I haven't spoken about that.
And like Scrooge McDuck, the players can just dive in and swim around.
Hungry Jack's franchises down there.
They're at the bottom. You just go down and pick one up.
It's a good question though. Like, maybe they should be doing that because I guess reports have said that perhaps some of that is an issue. Certainly through COVID, they cut back a lot in their resources they were using on the footy club. Probably overall, though, the soft cap should be increased across the competition, I think.
Yeah, correct. Alex, looking at Fremantle says, ignore the Freo head coach for a second. Do they have a lineup of very poor assistant coaches? Losing Matty Boyd and Josh Carr has been incredibly damaging to the team. Says Alex, and Tim Edmonds says the same thing. How big a loss has Matthew Boyd been?
Yeah, I think it's less about do they have a lineup of very poor assistant coaches in the fact that they've lost two very good ones. Like, they've lost Matty Boyd and Josh Carr. Josh Carr's going to be a head coach of a football club, so clearly he can coach. And Matty Boyd, from all reports, was a good tactician as well. So, I don't know what their assistant coaches are like. I don't think anyone would unless you're a player or you're inside the four walls. So I think it's difficult to sort of comment on the whether they're good or bad, but you can comment on the fact that they have lost good ones. So, that's never a good thing. West Coast have probably been in similar situations with a few different, coaches they've, won or lost over the journey as well. You always want the best assistant coaches, and good assistant coaches and good teams behind a head coach definitely make a difference. Like, if you're wondering whether or not you can just chuck a bunch of guys in and, hopefully a good team will just be a good team, you need good coaches. Definitely a priority for West Coast and for Freo.
Chris on the message line says, how much longer does Justin Longmuir last if Freo lose this week? Does he see the bye if they win one of the next three?
I just don't think he's going to get sacked mid-season. He's going to be sacked at all.
I've said the same thing on radio on Saturday morning last week.
Why would you?
And got smashed by other presenters and also lots of fans.
What's the argument to do it?
Well, that's my exact point. Like, until they can't make finals mathematically, like, what's the point of doing that? I think they deserve the chance to go through and do it. If you've been put in that job, you should get the chance to turn it around.
Yeah, I mean they're backing him in clearly. I know there's a big frustration with Freo fans with Justin Longmuir. Like, I don't think you can avoid that. That's true, and you've heard that from fans on Talkback Radio with 6PR, and I hear it daily in my dealings with anyone who does go for Freo. Like, it's a common thread. So that's all fine, but you've got four coaches that no one's going to go and make a move on them next week. In John Longmire, Ken Hinkley, who still coaches for Port Adelaide, Adam Simpson, who has been relatively non-committal to coming back to it, and Nathan Buckley, who probably is in a similar spot to Adam Simpson. That, like, no one has no coach, so no one's going to be making a move on those guys and signing them because everyone's got a coach. Now, if next week 2 different clubs sack their coaches and then suddenly the 4 that are there are up for grabs, well, then you've got to start looking at a move. But what does sacking Justin Longmuir do for you? Not a lot, I wouldn't have thought.
Not in the short term, I don't think.
No.
Excuse me, my voice is going.
Yeah, welcome to my life, mate. Absolutely welcome to my life.
For Freo, I think there's a lot of similarities, I reckon, between them and Richmond before they went on their run. Like, they had Damien Hardwick there for 6, 7, 8 years. They made the finals a couple of times, granted, through that period. They were so close to sacking him the year before.
Yep.
They end up going on and winning the flag. And for Fremantle, they've gone through this period. I know they're 6 years in, but it's going to be a massive test for them whether they stay the course and back Justin in and back the playing group that they've got in, or if they second guess themselves later in the year.
For what it's worth, Nathan Buckley was as good as sacked in 2017. They made a grand final in the next year.
Yep.
Eddie Maguire told us that on our guest show on Wednesdays.
Good episode, that one.
Yes.
I did enjoy that.
Thank
and
you.
The psychic, the medium
It was very good.
told his wife that they were
Eddie
going
was
to lose the grand final.
Very, very generous with his time, Eddie Maguire.
Yeah, go and check it out. The next question coming through says, from Mike, should Tim Kelly be playing WAFL this weekend and Clay Hall come into the side?
Look, did you call this game?
Yep.
Did he play midfield throughout? From what I saw,
I
and I didn't see the whole game, but it looked like he was playing forward.
I thought he started maybe in the middle for the first 5-10 minutes, but he definitely played more half forward.
Back at all?
No, I don't think so. I think it was more half forward.
Yeah, so it just depends what role, because Liam Ryan was definitely in the midfield.
Yep.
So you can't play 4 on ballers. So it might have been a different role. Just because someone's having 30 in the WAFL doesn't mean they're going to come in and have 30. And just because a player isn't getting 30 touches doesn't mean they're not being effective. Now, I didn't see all of the game. I can't really comment on whether he should be playing WAFL or not. But clearly they're trying to develop that role into something else. Maybe a fifth midfielder type role.
Reddy32 says, do you think the Eagles will get Willem Dersma with their pick this year? He does look good and may help with Harley at the same time.
Would that be
inferring there about the family connections?
Harley's current partner being sister of?
Yep.
Would that be pick 1 we're talking about here?
Well, they'll have pick 1 or potentially 2 if they get compensation.
Yeah, or if they can win some games. If Oscar Allen and or anyone else that leaves compensation picks, so they're going to have 2 early picks.
It's too early for me. I
don't know anything about Willem Dersma.
Yeah, I haven't looked at the draft early enough. Apologies.
I wouldn't know it even a day before the draft, so I can't answer that.
We'll knuckle in on that a little bit more as we get a little bit closer to it. Big Siver says, and he asked this question last week, and I'm rehashing it.
Yeah, fair.
Can we get a back chat to start a pro wrestling podcast with Adam Papalia?
Hey, it's up to Adam Papalia.
Well, you're the boss.
Oh, you can start if you like.
You're Dan.
I'm not going to pay you to do it. You can do it if you want.
It's going to be tough. Big Siver.
Do you reckon, would it have an audience?
I don't know. I don't think so. I just enjoy talking about it. Any chance I can roll it in there.
All yours. What would you call it?
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Aaron F9 says, the Dockers need some heart and soul. I think they are. They think they are this calm, super skillful team. This may be true, but it certainly ain't working for them. The Dockers play better against better teams. They seem to have the vibe where they match their opponent's intensity of opposition. If they're playing a good, fast game, the Dockers will take that on. But the other way, if the opposition is playing slow, contested ball, so do the Dockers. Freo have no identity? Question mark.
I don't know about the bits in the middle, but Freo have no identity, question mark, exclamation mark, I think that should probably have on the end of it, because I think that's true. What are Freo right now? We've heard Hayden Young or Caleb Sarong, one of those guys, speak about they wanted to be a 80 to 70 side and they want to be down and win close games, which they haven't done. We then see that, at times they look better as an open, flowing, exciting side. Like they look better when they open it up. We've seen that. Against Collingwood at times, they looked like okay, but just a really slow ball movement team against Collingwood, which just allows teams to set up behind. My read on Freo for most of the year is I reckon they've got it wrong with how they're playing.
In what way?
How so?
How so, Schoey?
Sorry?
How so, Schoey?
Tell
you some issues with this feedback.
If anyone can read the little shout out we've done there,
Hello,
well
Kath.
Done. Hello, Kath. I think that they are looking to move the ball too slow, which it does 2 things. It allows you to defend behind it, but they've got a good backline. I think sides that don't have a good backline should move it slower because you kind of need a bit of time to get it set up behind it. Freo have got a good backline. They've proven that they've got a good backline. They should be moving it faster, which at the other end means the other side can't set up for it. Like what Collingwood did, you got Darcy Moore, who he's having a good season this year. He didn't last year. If you give guys like that time to set up behind the ball, you're going to lose games by getting 65 inside 50s to 35. That's why they lost. Not because of the inside 50s, because of the time they allowed Collingwood to set up behind the footy. So, I look around the competition and I see, at the top of the ladder, Brisbane, Collingwood, Hawthorn's up there. It's not showing me my ladder. There's Gold Coast, Adelaide. Like, these are the sides. You think about how every one of those sides play. Like, Collingwood just won a game with 34 inside 50s. They play quick. They play fast. That's the style this year. What they're doing might be a good finals type of footy or when a contested brand, but where we are right now, they haven't been able to shift what I think they've got wrong, which is their game plan. Good enough answer?
Yeah, very well answered. Despite the technical difficulties you had there after I asked it, I think the faster ball movement helped. You can't go fast every time.
No.
And sometimes fans get frustrated if they do get locked up. You cannot go 100% of the time, just flat out. But if they can get that forward line more open, I think it's going to help Jai Amos a lot because he loves leading at the footy. He's more that old school style full forward who loves leading up at the footy. At the moment, he's getting caught in a wrestle probably a bit too much, which you've said a few times. But if they can get some space for him to actually lead and then take the right option to actually use him when he's on the lead, getting him into a bit more form, I think, will help their scoring ability.
Brisbane, Collingwood, Hawthorn, Gold Coast, Adelaide, Western Bulldogs, Geelong, GWS. That's the top 8. They all move the ball fast. Below them, Essendon, Carlton, Freo, St Kilda, Port, Sydney, Melbourne. These are contested ball, slow ball movement sides that can't score. It's not just a coincidence that that's how the ladder looks.
Another message coming through on YouTube last week. It was Kate, and I'll take this one on board, Kate, who had a bit of a crack at us last week.
Oh, good. I like Kate.
We were talking about Jeremy
McGovern,
McGovern, whether he was concussed or not concussed in the game. I only mentioned that because you didn't get a straight answer during the match, but since that point, Andrew McCalter did say in the post-match interview that he was concussed and would miss, so Kate thought I was trying to add fuel to they're lying to us vibe.
Oh, let me tell you, Kate. I'm not having a go at you. But I was on the broadcast for Fox Footy and I directly asked West Coast and we were given he's out, but we're not talking about if he's concussed or not. So I can tell you right now that wasn't clear on game day.
Yeah, that was at halftime. It was clarified after that by the time we went to air, so I should have known that. But yes, there was some mixed messaging going on.
Lack of messaging.
During the game.
Which is consistent with that, Kate. That's not a one-off. And
Jelly Roll 76 says, why suggest that we're better with Oscar as a forward when you know for a fact that he's been pitiful in that role for 12 plus months? That was me again last week. Just because I think West Coast are a better team when Oscar Allen is playing as a forward.
Yeah, but
when he's in form.
Jelly Roll, I like your name, but Oscar Allen may not be at his best right now. But if you played him in the forward line, he is better than Jack Williams and Archer Reid.
Yep.
And I don't. That's not anything to do with those players. Like, Oscar Allen is better than those two players. So the reason he's playing in the back line is because they're trying to get games into those guys. But to say that they wouldn't be a better side with Oscar at forward, I just don't think that's correct.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I think and if which side is more nervous if you've got Oscar Allen in defence or forward, the defenders from the opposition
You'd be licking your lips if you got Oscar Allen as a backman.
Absolutely.
You'd be licking your lips.
Particularly the defenders who don't have to play on him.
Yeah, correct.
He's playing at the other end
Absolutely.
of the ground. Brilliant stuff, Schoey. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
As repeating this segment of the podcast, we headed to Patreon in the next few weeks.
Sign up to Patreon, backchatpodcast.com.au. Very easy to do. Click contribute or Patreon. You can sign up 4 weeks to go, and then we'll be over there with this part of the pod.
But most importantly, send us your questions because we want to answer your questions and give you a vehicle to get your thoughts and opinions out.
Hello at backchatpodcast.com.au. Hit us up on socials, backchat _ on Instagram. You can put them on TikTok, probably won't get to us. Perhaps doesn't know what he's doing there. YouTube, comments, or you can put comments in the Instagram as well.
Not quite skeet levels, but I'm definitely not TikTok.
I'm not a TikTok guy either. So.
Brilliant stuff. Thanks so much for getting involved. Send us through your questions here on the Footy Interchange Exchange.